Hello, and welcome to my channel, Senior Artist Strokes. I'm Angel Mercado. Do you sketch from photographs? Most of us do. For different reasons, some people just don't have access to too many scenes, maybe, especially city folks. So they might have to rely on what comes through the screen, or if they have a magazine or whatever. The weather might not be good. Physically, we're not able to go to wherever we want to go, or places are too far away. So many reasons why we have to rely on photographs. And it's fine, I have no problem using photographs. The only problem, though, is the danger, not the problem, but it's a danger, especially at the beginning. If you're not careful and you are just beginning to start doing this, you are going to find yourself copying too much of the photograph. You need to learn how to edit the photograph, and then you can, do a sketch. If you stay till the end of the video, then I'm going to show you some good tips of how you can use your own reference material, your own photographs. So stay till the end, because I know you're going to find them useful. This is a little drawing we're going to do just to see how I go about sketching from a photograph. That's simple. And of course, like and subscribe will be nice. Share will be even better. Oh, and by the way, the first half I will talk while I draw a sketch, and then the second half is more like a shading, so you're just going to pretty much hear the sound of the pencil charcoal on paper. By the way, I used HB or hard pencil charcoal and soft pencil charcoal. That's what I used. Alright, let's go and see what this is all about. Okay, so as usual, the first thing I like to do is draw a little frame on the paper, and this doesn't have to be anything. You have to be very careful about boundaries, where I'm going to see my composition here. That's all. So once I have that established, I like to find my horizon line. In this case, my horizon line is somewhere in here, a little bit below halfway mark. And since we're working from a photograph, well, this particular sketch, I did it from life when I lived here in this town. This was only about just maybe less than a city block away from our house. So I did a lot of sketches there. So the first thing I'm going to do here is look for shapes. If I squint my eyes, you can see in the photograph the part of the trees here is kind of sort of darker than the sky, of course, so it'll be darker, so we're going to put that there. The sidewalk also gives a little bit of perspective here, so we're going to take that into account. The sidewalk tend to be darker. As a matter of fact, it's about the same value. When I squint my eyes, the values of the tree and grass is about the same, so I'm going to put here comes the other part of the sidewalk, then it goes somewhere in here, let's say. This area here is going to be all, make it a little bit wider, it's going to be all about similar value. My main subject is here. I like this the way this house looks at the distance, so I'm going to keep it very simple. When I squint my eyes, this is all I see. I don't see much more than this, like that. And here we see maybe about this much. the horizon line, but of course, you know, it's, we have the ground goes down like this, so we'll draw it on top. You don't really see this part. And here we have just a little bit of the house. And we can just see just an indication of the roof. And the side of the house goes pretty much up to about there. And it's followed by another part of this house that goes to the distance there. And here we have this big bush right here, like this. And of course we have the shadows, and we're going to extend the shadows this way, like that. So pretty much I have what I need to start developing my drawing. Of course I did this, when I did this sketch, I took the photo according to how I want to look like, kind of like, you know, the composition. So that was done on location. So the photo pretty much has the right composition that I need, that I'm looking for. But what you can do, you can take part of this composition, part of the photograph. Maybe you're just interested in an area like this and just try to create that as a, you know, as a sketch. Just choose different places. It doesn't have to be the whole scene. So now that we have pretty much everything into place, we're just going to go and start putting a little bit of charcoal down, very light. This charcoal is hard charcoal, so it's going to have pretty light lines. And usually here I kind of like to try to follow a little bit with the subject, in this case this tree, like that. And the grass here on the side is going to be also laying horizontal, just like this grass here. And you can see that I'm not being very careful. I just want to have enough charcoal there so I can move it around. That's what I'm trying to accomplish. And here we see a little bit of the trees in the background. Then they're going to come up pretty much to the house. And here's how we are going to tie it up. You see, everything is going to come into one big shape. And this one I'm going to do it this way because it's a roof line. And this is how I see it. And of course we have this other house structures, you know, here in the foreground with this big bush in front. The main objective here is just to cover pretty much all the paper with charcoal. Just let it get something there that we can work with. That's what I'm trying to do. And of course here we have the shadows that come from this bush here, so we're going to do it all the way there. And there we have pretty much our composition. You see how fast we can do it? Of course I've been doing this for a long time. I've done this scene a few times, so it's in my mind. I can move fairly fast because I know my subject. But for you, the first timer, maybe you might be moving a little bit slower, and that's okay. This is not a race where we have to go fast at it. This is just you know, this is just a little study we're doing here just to improve our skills. Here we have a little shrub that goes straight up like this, and we're going to put it about there, like that. You see how easy you can just create that? It doesn't take much effort. And here we have, of course, the chimney of this house, and we can see there. So I'm going to cut the chimney. Okay, so I'm looking at it. I'm thinking, yeah, it looks pretty good. I'm going to put a little light touch, a little bit of charcoal here on this sidewalk. Nothing is white, like the sky. I'm going to leave the sky white for now. I might tone it down later, but for now it's going to stay white. And now it's just a matter of kind of like redrawing this, but this time, for instance, I know the roof is darker than the rest of the house, so I'm just going to do that. Get the roof a little bit, give it a darker tone, like that. Also, the side here wall of this house, and what I like about this really was the window that was on this house. That's what did it for me. Of course, the light of the scene, the morning light, yes, that too. But in this particular scene was the window, because it's a light. It's not light blue, but it's a blue window, and I like the contrast. I like the way it looked. So that's what I like about this scene. And pretty much everything really is, since it's morning light, pretty much everything is under shadow. You don't see a whole lot of sun besides in the reflecting the grass, The rest of it is pretty much under shadow. Here we have this beautiful shape of a tree. It's going to go up. And remember, this is at the distance, so you're not going to see a lot of detail. So if you just draw something darker there, the viewer is going to figure out and it is a tree what we're trying to draw. Like that. This area here is a little bit darker because it's shadows coming from this direction. They're going to darken this part of the scene. This a little bit darker now. When I'm doing this, I'm squinting my eyes. Please do that. Get used to that. It's so helpful. When you squint your eyes, you get rid of all the details and you see nothing but shapes of different values. And that is the best way to see your drawing, really, as a shape of a different value. See, I can change the way I'm holding my pencil. I can switch that a little bit to help me create some straighter lines. There are a few I had to be kind of careful, so I kind of like to take my time when I do this one. Just try to get try to get the angle just right. Here we go all the way to the top here. We go all the way up. And this is going to be darker than the background. That's what you have to do. You have to just compare this darker than what area. Squint my eyes one more time. And I don't worry much about the tree in front of it because it's darker, so it's the chimney, so I can go right on top of it and add the darker tone that I need to add in here. It's not very, very dark, but it's darker than what it is. We need to have this structure darker than the grass, because the grass, remember, you can see the sunlight, so we want to make sure that this structure is going to be darker than than the grass. And this is going to be also darker. See, then that on top you can see a little more of sky, so I'm going to leave some white areas. And here it's pretty solid, so I'm going to try to cover most of these white areas. Here we see the trees in the background a little bit. Whatever else is there, so I'm going to darken it a little bit more. And here I'm going to start defining this area a little bit more. This will be shadow here, so it will be a little bit darker. But we don't want a very straight, clean line, of course, with it. So I'm going to get a piece of tissue here, and I'm going to blend some of this. Pretty much go all over. This is going to help unify everything. Maybe a little bit of tone in the upper part of the sky, just very little. So I sit down, I sit back, I look at it, and I'm thinking, I'm squinting my eyes and I'm thinking, okay, so far so good. I'll enjoy it, so I will continue. Now we're going to go with the second phase, that is defining everything a little bit more now. So we're going to make this curve like this, and all of this here is going to be darker because this is from the house, the shadows from the house, and whatever is behind the grass area. Here you see just a little bit of another roof at the distance. So I'm just going to add this little bit of roof to about there. Yeah, give it a little indication there's something there. So by adding that, I'll darken this a little bit, which is going to make this roof go back a little bit. And here's that window that I told you that I really liked. These old houses, sometimes they have these big windows. And we have this shrub here, especially on this side. It's going to be a little bit darker. This house here had a window, the attic window, of course. A little window we can barely see here. We have another window there.